Hey guys, this is Miss Mo. This is the Test 2 review. We are on number 6. It says divide. To find the exact answer, express the answer as a whole or a mixed number when possible, and simplify. Okay, so we have these two fractions. You can barely see them, but they're being divided. So to do division with fractions, you have to do keep, change, flip. But first we have to get rid of these mixed numbers and change them to improper fractions. So we're going to do Texas. So I wrote Texas. Now we do 3 times 3 is 9. And then that plus sign says 16. So we have 16 over the same 3 divided by, let's do Texas. 5 multiply 4 is 20, plus sign 4 is 24. Keep the same denominator. Okay, now we're going to do keep, change, flip. And the keep fraction means you keep it the same. The change means you change that division to his opposite, multiply. Then you flip that 24 over 5. You flip it upside down. Okay, now we're going to multiply left to right. And now that we've had that first test, we can use a calculator. So 16 times 5 is 80. 3 times 24 is 72. Okay, and then if you want to reduce this, we could probably divide it by 2 over and over and over and over again, or we could divide it by 8. I think if you divide it by 2 over and over again, you get the same thing, but you have to divide by 2 3 times. So anyway, if I divide by 8, I get 10 over 9. And then if you look at the answer choices, none of them look like this. But we are over 9, so if there's a problem with no 9 on the bottom, it's wrong. So here's an answer with no 9 on the bottom, so it's wrong. Okay, now we're going to actually turn this into a mixed number. We're going to say 9 goes into 10 once, so automatically D is out, because D says a big fat 2. Okay, so automatically once, and then 1 times 9 is 9, and we subtract down and we get 1. So my final answer is that big fat 1 from the quotient, the top of the division house. Then next to it, a fraction bar with my remainder 1 over what you divided by, 9. So B is wrong because it has a tiny 2 on the top of the fraction. So A. Okay, let's look at the next sucker, number 7. It says Carl Mason sold 3/12 gross of data disks on Monday. Okay, I'm not real sure what that means. Gross means total. Data means numbers and words and stuff. Disks means like those CDs or DVDs or thumb drives. That's what disks mean. Okay, anyway, so it says Carl did 3/12. Monday he did 3/12. Tuesday was 1/12, and Wednesday was 5/12. Then it says what is the total? Well, I think we've gone over this in a different section, but total means add everything up. So let's add up all these guys. We're going to have 3 over 12 from Monday. Then we have 1 over 12 from Tuesday. Then we have 5 over 12 from Wednesday. And total means plus. Okay, when you add, you have to have the same bottom already, and they're all the same. Huzzah! So we're just gonna keep it on the bottom, 12. And in fractions, once the bottoms are the same, you can add the tops. Oh, that was a horrible curly bracket, but let's add these tops. 3 plus 1, 4 plus 5, 9. Okay, if you're looking at the answer choices, this one was 16 is close to it, but it's not 9. So don't think that's the right answer just because it has a 12 in it. Okay, the reason the rest of these answers look different from this 9 over 12 is because we have to reduce it. So let's reduce this. What can we divide by? And the answer is we can divide by 3. So let's go. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Hey, B boy. Alright, number 8, it says find the least common multiple for the set of numbers. Multiple means like multiplication facts. So let's think of 3. What are the multiplication facts of 3? 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. And then we keep going until we don't want to write anymore. Okay, I guess that's now. Now let's look at this 5 and come up with his multiplication facts. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, I'm tired. Then it says least common. Okay, so all these numbers that I wrote down here are the multiples. So when it says multiple, it's talking about the multiplication facts. When it says common, it means there's a number in both of these lists. And when it says least, it means the lowest number in common. Well, let's look for our number in common. Eventually there's going to be like a 30 in both of these, but that's just in common. It's not the lowest in common. So even though there's a 30 on both of these, it's not the LCM because it's not the lowest number in common. The lowest number in common is this 15. So C. Yeah. Okay, let's go to number 9. It says rewrite the fraction with the indicated denominator. Okay, this is where we figure out what I can multiply on the left to get the right. So let's see here. These fractions are supposed to be equal. So 4 times something gives you 24. 4 multiply who gives you 24? 4 multiplied by 6 gives you 24. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. We're going to take that 1 and multiply it with a 6. And so that question mark is now 6 over 24. And the way we got that 6 is first we looked at the bottom left and we say, how do we get from that bottom left 4 to the 24? Well, you multiply by 6. So that means that number on the top left, you have to multiply by 6. If that number on the top left was perhaps a 2, then my final answer would not be 6 over 24, it'd be 2 times 6. So it would be 12 over 24. Yeah. Okay, so, anyway, woohoo! Let's go to number 10. It says add. Write your answer in lowest terms. Okay? Well, first we have to come up with our LCM or LCD, either way. So let's come up with the multiplication facts of the denominators. I see a 3. So let me come up with some multiplication facts of a 3. Okay, there they are. Now let me look at this other denominator and I see a 6. Let me come up with some multiplication facts of that. And there they are. Okay, now what's the L lowest in common? Well, I know 12s are in common, but even lower than that are these 6s. So my LCM or my LCD, either way, is 6. Right now, just looking at these numbers, it's called the least common multiple. But once I start dealing with this fraction hoopla, it turns into a least common denominator because it's from the denominator. Okay, so we need to get both of my bottoms, the denominators, to be a 6. Well, the right-hand denominator is good to go. On the left, what do I have to multiply by to get a 6 on the bottom? 3 times who gives you 6? Well, 3 times 2 gives you 6. Well, we have to do that to the top and the bottom. Okay, so again, we're trying to get to 6 because that's our LCD. Okay, so when I multiply this, it gives me 2 over 6 plus 1 over 6. And then when we add fractions, once the bottoms are the same, we add the tops and we keep the bottoms the same. So this sugar should be 3 plus 1 is 3. All over 6 plus 6. Tricked you. We keep the bottom the same. Okay, so 3 over 6. But if you look at the answer choices, none of them look like 3 over 6. Don't choose B because it has a 3 in it. That's not a good reason. Okay, why don't we look at this 3 over 6 and maybe reduce it? I think you can reduce it by 3. So if I divide by 3, I get a 1 on top and a 2 on bottom. So C. Let's keep going. Number 11. Same thing. Let's come up with our LCD or our LCM. Let's look at my first denominator. It's a 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, la da 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 da. Now let's look at my other denominator. It's a 9. Let me come up with the multiples of 9. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, la 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 la. Okay, so the question is, what's our smallest number in common? Well, I don't really see any. But if I kept writing on this multiples of 5s, let's see if we would get to that 45. Let's keep writing. 30, 35, 40, hot diggity dog, there it is, 45. So my LCD, which means the LCM of the denominator, is going to be 45. So LCD is the same thing as LCM, only it's about the denominator. That's why we chose the numbers from the denominator. Okay, so I need that 5 on the first fraction and that 9 on the second fraction to become 45s. So we're going to have to multiply by something. Okay, what times this 5 on the bottom will get you 45? And the answer is 9. And you have to do that to the top and bottom. So when you multiply that, you get 9 over 45. Hot dog. There's that LCD of 45. Thank you. Now let's look at this 2 over 9. Remember, we're finding the least common denominator. D, the bottom. Okay? So, on the bottom, what do you have to multiply this 9 by to get a 45? 5. And what you have to do to the bottom, you do to the top. Okay, let's see here. That makes 2 times 5. 10 over 9 times 5. 45. And then I think there's a plus sign right there, so plus sign. Okay, when you add the tops and you keep the bottoms the same. So we get 19 over 45. A. Let's keep going. Number 12. It says subtract. Write the answer in lowest terms. Okay, it did not say anything about an LCD, but we still have to do it. So, let's look at our first denominator, 9, and think of all of its multiples. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, la 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 la. Then for the multiples of 12, let's write those down. If you're not that great at it, you can say 12 times 2. And oh look. Okay, keep going. Then if you want to just keep adding 12 over and over, you should get that LCD. So let's see here. I want to come up with the lowest number in common, the lowest common multiples. So let's see. 36, here they are. So I need the bottom of my fractions to become 36s. Awkward, okay? Well, 9 times who gives you 36? Well, I think we can just count our multiplication facts. 9 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to multiply by 4 to get 36. Now let's look at the 12s. 12 times what gives you 36? Well, let's count the multiples. 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3. So we're going to multiply by 3 to get that 36. Okay, let's multiply. 7 times 4, 28. 9 times 4, 36. Minus 1 times 3, 3. Over 12 times 3, 36. Woohoo! Okay, when you subtract fractions, you keep the bottom the same. So hello 36. And then for the top, this time we're not going to add like the last problem. We're just going to minus. And 28 minus 3 is 25. And then you cannot reduce that. So it's just A. Okay, let's look at number 13. I think number 13 is a repeat. We've already done this about Carl. Carl! Okay, but we haven't done this thing about the circle. So let's go to number 14. Number 14 says the graph to the right shows the time required to install carpeting in a house for an 8-hour work shift. What fraction of the work shift was spent moving furniture and cleaning up? Okay, well, first let's find how much moving furniture is worth. Well, in our little picture, I can't tell anything, but if we look over here, you can see that moving furniture says it's 3/16. Okay, cleaning up looks like it's 1/16. Okay, and it says what fraction of the work was spent moving and cleaning up, as in both. That means add. So when you add fractions, the bottoms are kept the same. You add the tops, so we get 4/16. But then I think you can reduce. You can reduce by 2, or even bigger, you can reduce by 4. And if you do that, 4 divided by 4 on top is a 1. 16 divided by 4 on bottom is a 4. Hey, C. Yes. All right, let's look at number 15. I'm just checking to see if we've already done it. Okay, number 15, it says add. Well, that's what we've been doing. So we're going to have to come up with an LCD to get our bottoms the same. But the only thing is we have mixed numbers here. Awkward. Okay, so we're going to turn them into an improper fraction by doing Texas. Texas. Okay, so first, we're going to say 5 times 14, and that's 70, plus that 1 on top, makes 71 over 5, plus sign. 4 times that 10, plus the 3 on top, is 43 over 4. Okay, now we need to come up with the LCD. or the LCM. And remember, the LCD comes from the denominators. So my first denominator is a 5. Think of all his multiplication facts. 5, 10, 15, 20, blah, blah, blah. My second denominator is a 4. Let's think of all his multiplication facts. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, blah, 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 blah. Okay? The lowest number in common is a 20. So somehow we have to change these bottoms to a 20. So I have a 5 and a 4. How can I get those to become a 20? Well, 5 times 4 is 20. So on this first fraction, we're going to multiply on 4, top and bottom. And when I do that, I get 284 plus sign. Now this right-hand fraction, how do I get a 20 on the bottom? You multiply by 5, and you have to do it to the top and the bottom. And we get 215 over 20. Okay, now when you add fractions, you keep the bottom the same, and you actually math the top. So let's math that top. You get 499 all over 20. Okay, that does not look like one of these answer choices, correct? Correct. Okay, so we need to divide this to try and come up with a mixed number. So 20 goes into 499 how many times? Let's see, 499 divided by 20. Looks like 24-ish. So our answer is going to be the 24. Nope, nope, nope. Yes, with a little ish on top. Okay, so this is saying 20 goes into 49 twice, with 9 left over, and bring down the remainder of the next 9. Then 20 goes into this 99 4 times to get 80. And then we subtract down and we get 19. We get 19. So my answer is 24 and 19 twentieths. The remainder, 19 over what we divided by, 20. So,